One's destination is never a place, but rather a new way of looking at things. Today I want to talk about the self-transformation and where it starts. So what you can or what you need to change first at the beginning in order to change also everything around you. From your body to your environment, we call it reality, what we see, everything that we experience, how to change all the events in our lives, how to change all the things that we own in our lives and create truly a desirable result, so what we want to experience. So if a change or something is not a place but rather a new way of looking at things, then we need to start first in our thinking patterns. If our perception is creating an image in our mind, the way that we are seeing the world, then this image is awakening certain emotions. Emotions are also creating changes in our physical bodies. That's what epigenetics is teaching us. And if you are familiar with the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza or maybe Dr. Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden is talking a lot about that and bridging the old ancient traditions, the wisdom from ancient traditions with the new science, we can recognize that emotions are the main factors when it comes to change. But what is awakening emotions? If we are talking a lot about changing your thoughts, changing your perception, then when it comes to shifting yourself, your reality, when it comes to your personal transformation, it comes to applying new thoughts. So we are talking about changing new thinking patterns, how we can apply new thoughts, because if you will apply new thoughts, you will experience new emotions. That's the factor. That's how our body is responding to new thoughts. But when it comes to our daily lives, when we fall into our subconscious habits, when we are unconsciously moving through the day, when we are doing stuff that we are doing every single day, then we fall into this automatic program. At that point, we are not even aware what we are thinking. We are not aware how we are feeling. And I want to talk today how we can start applying new thoughts, because if our perception, the way that we are seeing life, is created by deep-rooted thinking patterns, then the only way to start looking on life differently is to change these thinking patterns. And the major thing here that we can do is firstly to become aware of our thinking patterns. As a great statement from Dr. Joe Dispenza is that our personality is creating our personal reality. And if we want to change our personal reality, we need to change our personality first. And if personality starts in our perception, we all know what we need to do now. So not many people are willing to take that risk, are willing to start working out on the way we think, how we are thinking, become aware how you are thinking, because it can be hard work. Many times it can be much harder than any physical activity when it comes to reprogramming our mind, reprogramming our conscious and subconscious thinking patterns. So what you can do at this moment, you can become aware. Meditation is like a powerful tool, how to become familiar more with your unconscious thoughts. Because when we step into that meditative state, we are all familiar with it. When we start meditating and we start becoming more aware of the breathing, we become also aware of all the thoughts that are running by our mind, and it feels almost impossible to shut them down, to make this quiet space so we can meditate, right? So we can lose ourselves in that present moment, in that state of nothingness. But what is actually happening is we are becoming more familiar with all those thoughts that are running day by day in our unconscious or subconscious mind. But when we become aware, it seems so hard because we can't or we don't know how to shut them down, right? But every time when we become more aware, we can write down what we are thinking constantly. Am I afraid of something? Am I worrying of something? What I'm thinking of others? Maybe I'm judging others. Maybe I'm judging myself. Because all our thoughts are about something, about my environment, about people in my environment, maybe about how I'm seeing myself, maybe what I want to achieve, maybe why I didn't achieve what I want yet, and things like that. So we need to write them down so we can become even more aware of those thoughts. Because when we become aware of those thoughts, we are not those thoughts anymore. We are becoming observers of those thoughts. And when we become observers of those thoughts, we become more in control about when we want to think about those thoughts and when we want to change those thoughts for something else. And at that moment, we can write down what we want to think about. And here is truly important to understand that when we will start doing that, it doesn't mean that your life will change immediately. Most people think that your life will change immediately after you will start applying those things, but it takes time, same as working out, building muscles. It's not made in one day. But when we start applying new thoughts, we are becoming more and more and more aware through the day. Rather, we are thinking our old thoughts or new thoughts. And every time when we become aware of it, we can start thinking new thoughts. We can have this piece of paper with us. We can look at it and think about, oh yes, that's the thing. Oh, I want to change this. Oh yes, I don't want to judge right now. I want to be more peaceful. I want to be more compassionate with others. And every time when we are doing it, we are actually overcoming our old thinking patterns. We are building new thinking patterns, and we need to repeat them over and over and over again, so they will get deep into our mind. And it comes it will create a beautiful outcome. Slowly, when we are applying new thoughts, we will start feeling better. Maybe if you will be doing it for 1 month or 2 months or half a year or 1 year or 2, 3 years, each year you will see a difference. Each month, each week you will recognize a difference. And it doesn't mean that, like, when you will start applying, I'm rich, I'm abundant, that you will manifest money in 1 week. It is possible, of course it is, but the most important is that you are constantly changing yourself. Because as long as you're changing yourself, you're also changing your reality, personal reality. But if you're not changing yourself, it's much harder to change anything in your environment. So the point is here to start with your thoughts. And maybe we can finish it here, because there's lots of topics which can go from here. But I've made lots of videos, a lot of videos about that personal change, personal shift that you can do right now at this moment. And globally, if we can recognize right now so many fear, the only possible explanation that we can create in our mind is people need to go through that fear for so long that people can finally become aware that this fear is not outside of them but inside of us. And at that moment we become aware of our own fear. And like I said before, when we become aware of our own thoughts, which are awakening fear, we can finally start applying new thoughts which will overcome our old patterns. Because one thing here is with our attention. You know, when I said in one video, attention is like we are driving it. It's a force that we are driving it. And as long as we are placing our attention onto our familiar thoughts, we are awakening them over and over again. We are giving them life, and that's why they feel so real to us. But as soon as we will place our attention onto something else, let's say onto new thoughts, we start giving them life. We start giving them life to our new thoughts. And more time, longer we are doing it, more they will become real to us. More they will become real to us, more emotions we will experience within our body. And as you know till now, if you're following my videos, when thoughts and emotions are on the same level, so when we are thinking one way and we are feeling the same way, we are creating the new state of being. From thinking and feeling, from feeling to thinking is creating our state of being. So when we awaken a new state of being, we actually awaken a new personality, and new personality will create, like Dr. Joe Dispenza said, a new personal reality. So if what you can get now is that your personality depends on your perception of your reality. Doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are, how healthy or how unhealthy you are. All depends on how you are looking on life right now. Because many people are going through really challenging times at this moment. But also some people who went through the same challenging times, maybe even worse or maybe much easier challenges, when they changed their perception and when they faced with their fears, deepest fears, their life was totally changed. And slowly they started building up a new personality, new state of being, and their life started shifting. Like they started making more money, they started feeling better, they became more healthier, and so on, greater relationships. So that's it, a little secret to your personal shift, because your personal shift can't happen without it, without what we were talking in this video. So this is it for today. I'm sending you all blessings and love for this beautiful day, your beautiful life, and see you soon. Peace and love, my friends. Namaste.